to talk to me. I just wanna feel love.
Hi, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of Find Me in a Book podcast. I'm so excited about today's books, multiple books. They're not even that short of books. They come around about 360 pages like each in each book. But I wanted to do them together because they've both been released and they're both very vibey Gilmore Girls fall autumn. So I was like, I'm going to read both of them anyways. I might as well read them quick enough so that I can do an episode on both of the books. So that's what happened, and that's what we did. I don't even know if it's been a big week for books. Again, like, it's just the past couple weeks, you get it. Like, life happens. I didn't do a YouTube video last week. Just everything, it all hits at once, you know? I haven't done a lot of like book talking, you could say, research into the new books that are coming out. This is like the newest books that I've seen on Book Talk, and so I immediately was like, yes. But other than that, like I haven't been super in tune with it. So tell me what's going on. Tell me if there's new books. Tell me if there's controversy. Tell me everything that's happening. Because I haven't been able to really like deep dive into the up and coming and all that. But I want to. I'm hoping that this week I will, and then I'll be able to kind of, do my little announcements next week, But we'll see. This week's episode, which is fun, and I immediately had to jump on these books because I have been seeing them all over TikTok and Instagram and all that. And so, to be honest, I saw them, but I hadn't heard anything about them. Like, everyone was talking about them, like that they've picked it up, that they've seen them. And I'm talking about the Pumpkin Spice Cafe, which I don't have the physical one. I thought that I had bought the physical one, but then I bought this other Pumpkin Spice one, which in last week's episode, I think I said that in last week's episode. So I just have the first or the second one now. But the Pumpkin Spice Cafe and the Cinnamon Bun Bookstore, they immediately catch your eye. Like, they're so cute and cozy little covers. And so everyone was buying them and picking them up. And I'm like, okay, but I haven't heard about how they are. And I'm here to tell you, they are literally so cute. So adorable, so sweet, so cute. It's like a Hallmark movie in a book. I'm not even joking. They were so cute. And I think you're going to be surprised because for the mother-sister standard, yes, I think that they both should read them. They are surprisingly spicy. Like, they're in my realm of spicy. Like, they are probably too much. Actually, I know that they're too much for my sister, and I know that they're too much for my mom, but they're not constantly thinking about sex. They're not constantly doing sex, like the characters. And so it's those scenes you're easily able to like skip over, and that's probably what they will do. And that's what I'll just recommend to them. Like, hey, if it's too spicy for you, just skip over. Because it is in third person. So my mom will like these because of that. And I didn't mind it. You got both point of view. But third person point of view too. That they're both like solid characters. And in both of these books, all the characters are really good. Like, they were surprising. Like, there was good plots, good stories in them. Yeah, with the spice, I would say it's like a 3 out of 5. Like, it was good spice. Like, in the first book, which I will separate them in just a minute, but in the first book, that book kind of like got me giddy. Like, because they had these like makeout scenes, but the author described them in a way that reminded me of like how I felt when I was like kissing a new boy, when I like was in high school or college and dating and all that. Like, she somehow captured that feeling, and I really liked it. Like, it was fun, and it was just overall these two books are so cute and so good, and I do recommend them. Like, Sure, I wish that there was like a little bit more depth to the characters. Like the characters were good. I didn't feel like I knew them as good as I wanted to, though. Like we get their background a little bit, but sometimes to get a character, like to really grasp a character, I like to know their history. Like I like to know like a story of how they grew up, or I like to know like when they're talking to their parents, like little details of like, oh, and they used to do this, or I used to do this like growing up. Like I like kind of more details like that. And there wasn't a ton of it. Like you got the background of each character, but not a lot of specifics is what I'm trying to say. And this author, her name is Laurie Gilmore, and I don't think that's a real name. I think that she combined Lorelai and Rory from Gilmore Girls, and I'm here for it. I think that is so cute. And the town that we are in, I think it's called like Dreams Harbor or something. But it gives me very much Stars Hollow vibe. If you don't understand the references, it's from like Gilmore Girls. I think I said that. I think I just said, I don't know. So it's fine. But very much Stars Hollow. Some of the characters give me vibes of the characters that are in that show. Like in the first book, Pumpkin Spice Cafe, we have Jeannie. She gives me Lorelai vibes. And in the second book, we have Hazel, and she gives me Rory vibes. And let's start talking about the Pumpkin Spice Cafe, though. So Jeannie was given the cafe from her aunt. Her aunt, all of a sudden, like 2 weeks before this, was like, hey, I'm going to retire. Here's the cafe. So she gave the cafe to Jeannie. And she didn't really know what to do with it. Her boss, like she was a executive assistant to like the CEO. And her boss actually like died overnight, like on his desk. And so she didn't have a job. She was like, I don't really know what's happening, what's going on. And so it was like perfect timing. She's like, okay, I'm going to move there and I'm going to run this cafe. And she's nervous but excited because she's heard so much about this town and they're all like up in each other's business, you know, the small town kind of trope. And she's nervous, and they do town halls there, which I thought is so fun because those are some of my favorite moments in the Gilmore Girls show is like when they go to like town hall meetings, and they're just so fun. So Jeannie, when she first moved into the cafe, so she's staying in the apartment above the cafe, she keeps hearing noises at night and they're like waking her up and she's like really nervous. And so one night, it's like evening, that she's like, okay, I'm going to go out there. I am going to confront it. Like I have this bat. So she opens the door and there's this man there and he has all of these like pumpkins. And she's like, oh, like, who are you? And he's like, I'm Logan. Like I'm the farmer. Like I'm bringing you like your weekly pumpkins, your fruits, your vegetables. So Logan reminds me, I mean, obviously the name Logan, you know, but he's giving very much Luke and Jackson vibes. I mean, he's a farmer like Jackson. He's quirky, but he's grumpy like Luke. And so I love that. Obviously, Luke is my absolute favorite. So very much those vibes. And she's like, hey, come in, like fast talking. And he's like, I don't know what to do with this girl. So she's just like talking, invites him for coffee. And she's a fast talker too, like just like Lorelai. And he invites her to the town hall that's going to be coming up because she's talking to him about these noises. And he's like, hey, why don't you bring it up in the meeting and see if anyone is able to help you? And so she goes to the town meeting. She meets everyone there. The mayor is so funny. Like he has these dreams that he thinks are premonitions. He's actually Hazel's dad. And it's just giving very like Taylor vibes, but just very whimsical, almost like Babette, and just very fun characters, very fun personalities that we're introduced to. And so Jeannie does get up and talk about like these noises, and the mayor kind of like volunteers Logan to help her. And he's like, okay, yeah, I can help her. So they're going to be doing like these stakeouts to see like who's making these noises, and they start to spend more time together, which is really cute. And a little bit more about Logan. So his dad left when he was a baby. And then when he was a child, his mom died. So the town kind of just adopted him. He was raised by his grandparents, but the town just is very protective of him. He's the town's farmer. He's all in like everything, and everyone just loves him and takes care of him and looks out for him. And so they're kind of like pushing him towards Jeannie and kind of pushing Jeannie towards him, especially because this town loves the cafe. They have to have their caffeine fix. And so they just slowly start to spend more time together, and it's so cute. And he has kind of been like scorned in the past. Like he proposed to this girl like in the middle of town at like this event, and she said no. And so from there, he's kind of like guarded his heart. But it is cute that both of them fall really fast for each other. Faster than normal. That's what's giving the like Hallmark vibes, that I'm like, okay, like this is kind of quick, but okay. But just the whole story, there's a little mystery in this book and also in the second book. Like, and I was surprised about that because someone is like messing with the cafe. So they have to figure out who's doing that and solve it and get to the bottom of it. And like at first when they're like, okay, what are we doing? Like we're spending time together, we're kissing, and he doesn't really want the town to know. He just wants to keep it between them. And so she kind of gets nervous about that. And then when he is over at one point, he sees like all these listings. So he thinks that she's leaving, and just like the girl that he proposed to. And so he gets nervous with that. And but really like she's not leaving. And so a little bit of miscommunication. And it's just cute how they love each other and fall for each other. And it's just the whole relationship is so freaking cute. And so they end up good. They figure out who is messing with the cafe, which I'm not going to tell you, but it's fine. It's cute. And then for the next book, we have the Cinnamon Bun Shop. Is that what it's called? Yes, Cinnamon Bun Bookstore. This one is cute. I don't know if I liked it more than the first one. I don't know. I liked them both a lot. I wouldn't say that I liked one more than the other because they're both like the same amount of cute, same amount of like sweet, same amount of like mystery, and the characters are back. So you already love these characters. They already have like a backstory, and so you're invested in them. And Logan has these two friends that are girls that he has grown up with, Hazel and Annie. And Annie, I think her book is the fourth book that's going to be coming out, because in the third book I think gets released next month, but that's going to be about Jeannie's brother and a girl that moved into town with like she bought like the Christmas tree farm. So Annie, I think, is fourth, but Hazel, hers is the second book. And Hazel and Annie, they took Logan under their wing. So the three of them have been like best friends since they were children. And I want to say like a year ago, maybe 2 years, Noah came into town. And Noah, he didn't graduate high school. Like he dropped out. And his family owns, I think, like a Fisher, restaurants, maybe something in the food industry with fishing and fish and all of that. So they tried to make him work in the office. One of his sisters is now the CEO, but he just like could not do the office vibe. And he's like, no, I have to go. So he actually took one of his dad's boats. He paid him for it, left without really telling anyone, and has come to Dreams Harbor. And he does like touring and like is a fisherman and just does a lot with like tourism and the community. And I don't actually know how long he's been in the town, but he's 25 now. and Hazel is about to turn 30. So she owns the book. She doesn't own the bookstore. She manages the bookstore there. The owner was like, her dad is super rich, so just gifted her this bookstore, and she like never comes into town, so she has Hazel manage it. And Hazel has been working there since she was like 15. So it's been a while. And she is very like, she's very demure. She's very like calm, collected, doesn't really, she's not very adventurous. And so she's like, oh my gosh, I'm turning 30 in a couple months. Like, I really just want to have a fun summer. Like, I need to figure out, like, I just want to let loose. I want to get out there. And so she knows Noah, and Noah comes in all the time. He is not very sneaky about how much he's obsessed with Hazel. And so when someone starts putting, like, marking up these books in her bookshop and leaving, like, these clues, Noah is there, and she's like, hey, someone's been doing this. And he's like, oh my gosh, we should solve it. We should follow these clues. Like, one book had a highlighted portion that she needed to go to like the carnival. And so he took her to the carnival, like, and he's like, yeah, we're just going to have a summer of fun before you turn 30. And he wants to do this for her. So as these clues come in, like, you think that it's Noah, but it's actually not. And she thinks that it's Noah. And so it's kind of cute how they come together, and they both think that each other, like, doesn't want something serious, but they want something serious. And so it's that miscommunication again. And Noah has a lot of, like, self-doubt because he thinks that his family's disappointed in him. And so he hasn't gone home in a really long time. And so we get a lot of backstory of him, which is really cool. We don't get a lot about Hazel. Like, we know about her. Like, her dad is the mayor, and he actually has a husband. And her mom, so I guess her mom and dad were just, like, best friends and really, like, just grew up together, great friends. And so her dad and his husband wanted a baby. And so her mom was basically like the surrogate. And so she's like, I have parents, but I don't have any siblings. And so she really latched on to like Logan and Annie for friendship. And so her and Noah, they just get along really well. He's like a golden retriever. She's kind of more like somber, very Rory vibes. And so they just spend like the summer together and look for these clues in the book and go and do what the books say. And he wants to stay, but also like his sister is pregnant and she needs help at home. So he wants to go and help her after like Hazel's birthday. And so there's kind of like that miscommunication again, but they're just like so obsessed with each other, and it's so cute, and they're kind and just fun characters. Overall, it just was so cute. Like, I read these books pretty quickly because they're easy reads, they're quick, they're smooth, they're fun, they give you that fall feeling. They just make me want to be in Stars Hollow even more. Like, I have started rewatching that show. I mentioned that last week for sure. But it's just like, as I read these books, I had the Gilmore Girls like in the background, and it just like completed the vibe. It just completed it, and it was perfect. So if you keep seeing these books on your TikTok, on your social media, you should pick them up. You really should. They are so cute. There were no red flags, I guess, like no trigger warnings, nothing like that. They are just sweet, wholesome, cute, spicy Hallmark books. So I hope that has cleared up for you, because yeah, again, I was like, okay, I've seen so much about this book, but I haven't seen or heard like the results. Like, are they good? Are they worth it? Are they like fun? Yes, all of it. They really are. And I am going to go buy the physical the physical copy of the first one, because like these covers are so cute that like I have to have them in my freaking bookshelf. Like, I have to have them. So I'm going to go buy it, and I am really excited about the third one, actually. I'm going to set like a calendar like notification because it's so cute. And I don't know very much. We get introduced to the girl that's in the third one. We get introduced to her at the end of this book. And she seems like really grouchy and grumpy. And I think he is going to be more of like the sunshine. And because we kind of learn a little bit about Bennett, he's Jeannie's brother, so he calls her a lot in the first book, and so we kind of get to know him a little bit, but not enough to really know his background or his personality really. But I'm guessing it's really going to be that grumpy sunshine because I think the girl, she hates Christmas. That's what the summary says, is that she hates Christmas, but then she buys this Christmas tree farm. So I'm like, okay, are you a Grinch? And how are we going, or a Scrooge, that's what it is. Are you Scrooge? And how is he going to like help her like Christmas or help her run this farm? Or like, I'm just excited. Like the storylines are simple, but they're cute and they do have depth, but a lot of surface level things as well. But overall, so cute. If we're talk about age, I definitely think it's adult, just because of the spicy scenes. Like if there's not even a lot of spicy scenes, but when there is, they are pretty spicy, like description wise. And so I would say 18 plus. Yeah, 18 plus, especially with the scenes. But if they weren't, then I would say like 15 plus. But because of the spice level, definitely older. But again, it's not like the really smutty books where they're constantly thinking about sex or constantly having sex. It's not like that. It's very like there's a time and a place for this. Like it doesn't intermingle with everything else. So again, you can skip it very easily. 2 quick books, highly recommend. I am kind of gathering a few cute spooky books or like Halloween themed books that I want to do in October. So I'm starting to gather those. I did pick up a book yesterday. It's called Masters of Death by Olivia Blake. She is the author of the Atlas 6, which I've heard things about the Atlas 6. I haven't heard good or bad things about the Atlas 6. I've just heard of the title. And I mean, it says New York Times bestselling author of the Atlas 6. So maybe she like made some lists or something. Let's see, a struggling real estate agent and a vampire. So it's paranormal. It says there is a game that the immortals play. There is only one rule: don't lose. So she is the real estate agent and vampire, and the house that she's trying to sell is haunted. The ghost haunting the mansion has been murdered. Until he can solve the mystery of how he died, he refuses to move on. And then the main male character, he is a medium, and he's most definitely a shameless fraud. He isn't entirely without his uses, seeing as he's actually the godson of death. So she seeks him out to help with this ghost infestation. And I'm really excited to see where it goes. Look at, like, the pages are sprayed. They're purple. So cute. And, like, purple and green. Very good color. I'm excited. I'm going to read this in October. It's giving spooky vibes with the ghosts. So we'll see how it goes. I still need to make my TBR for the month, even though it's halfway through. I feel like that's when I always post it, is halfway through, because I forget. But I do actually need to go through and see what I do want on my list and what I am going to wait, and, you know, all the housekeeping stuff. Anyways, Thursdays, I usually am putting another video out. I didn't last week, but definitely follow and subscribe on there so that you can get more content. And then wherever you are listening or watching this, if you can rate and review and follow, that helps me out so much. I'm grateful for every single one of you. Thank you for listening. Thank you for being here. I genuinely am happy that you're here. And I will talk to you next week.